Hey, what's up, y'all? Y'all gonna have to bear with me. It's early. I just woke up. I didn't just wake up. I woke up a while ago, but I couldn't go back to sleep because I was just laying there. Because I kept thinking about y'all, man. I can't even watch the news no more. I don't like keep hearing the reports they're giving and all the negativity and how bad things are and how people feel and what people are going through. And I mean, it's ugly, man. It's ugly, but you know, I just feel like it needs to be a different message put out there. And you know, the reality is that sometimes we have to do some things that may be hard to do, but maybe the things that's needed to be done in order for us to actually get to where we want to be. And quite often those things are painful, you know, and they could be more painful than taking shortcuts or doing other things that may be easier to do and may seem more beneficial. And at that particular moment, you know, might actually feel more beneficial because it serves the immediate need. But there's a delicate balance that must be used when in that situation, because a lot of times you can do some things to serve that immediate need that will only make things worse for you in the future, and sometimes not so far ahead in the future. And a lot of people might say, well, I'll deal with that when I get to it. Well, you know, thinking that way puts you in an ongoing, endless cycle, because every time you reach that point and you still got that mindset, then you're still doing things that's going to land you in the exact same position again, over and over and over, doing things to serve your immediate needs in exchange for sabotaging traction in achieving your ultimate goals. You know what I'm saying? You never progress because you're in a cycle that will not allow progression. And so often just enduring that pain and allowing it to make you grow is what can put you where you need to be on a path and where you want to go. You see what I'm saying? Now, let me break this down and give an example, a hypothetical illustration of what I'm talking about. So obviously a lot of people is hurting right now. A lot of people could use a job, and I know it's easier for me to say than it is for you to be there, because you got some of you got kids that's hungry, you know, you're hungry, you got kids hungry, you got bills paid, you got electricity off. I know this, I understand that, but listen to what I'm telling you when I say this. Like I said, sometimes enduring this pain is what eventually corners us into making moves that's going to be beneficial to us. So if I don't have a job to go to and I've done all that comes to mind in order to change my situation, until finally I decide that I'm just going to have to dig deeper, I'm going to have to look harder, I am going to have to discover something that's going to change my situation. Now, that may be going back to school, that may be taking some classes, that may be evaluating my skills, looking at what I have to offer that I may be able to use in a way that brings me income. You see, all of a sudden I start thinking outside the box. I start doing things differently. I stopped worrying about traditional methods of creating an income. I stopped worrying about what's normal, what people expect. I get outside that box. I have to. I'm forced to. There's no other options. You see what I'm saying? And so I figure out something that I can do in order to make money. And I discover that this thing is actually turning out to be something that I can take to another level. You know, maybe I can bring in some more people that I know needs to do something productive with their time, and we can deal with this together and make even more money. Next thing you know, you got a business going, and it's just a shame you say that you hadn't thought of doing something like this a long time ago. Well, quite often we get caught up in a situation where we are comfortable, even though not all times happy, but we're comfortable with the situation that we're in. And so we don't apply the way we think in ways to get us there, so that you would have started something like that a long time ago, you know. And especially when you got, okay, now let me take this to another scenario. See, that's going down the pain and suffering route and allowing the natural things to take its course, and you end up coming to a place where you are forced to get more creative, think harder, and figure something out. But when there is assistance thrown at you before you never reach that point, you see, it cuts down on your brain activity, allowing you to come around to that way of thinking. So you just continue to do what you've been doing. In other words, the job that you had, that you been working at forever, is mostly because the job was there. You see, people quite often don't, they say don't rock the boat. You know what I mean? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know? Well, there's different ways to look at that, you know. And like if you got a job, a lot of people work at jobs that they can't stand because it's just easier to stay there working and enduring that pain and taking that and get the check at the end of the week, you know. So like right now, if government throw more money out there, just keep throwing money out there, talking about creating jobs. I mean, you know, artificial stimulation might entice companies to provide a position to do this, that, and the other. And there you are back in the cycle doing something that is, again, temporary, you know, because there's no substance behind it. It's artificial stimulation. So, I mean, one of the things that needs to be spoke of is the fact that there will be pain. And part of the recovery is enduring the pain. You can't get around the necessity to let time take its course. Everything, the recession has to work its way through. You can't just bypass the pain and suffering. There is going to be pain and suffering. And where we are now, the things that people are doing, the things that you all are doing, individuals are doing what I said would be done at the beginning of the recession, which we will look at 20 years from now and say was good. Saving more, starting to change the way they think, you know, starting to cut off, you're forced to cut off unnecessary spending. You're trying not to, and forced again to not use credit. You know, well, these are the long-term habits that need to be taken on for the future. Now, in order to deal with the current situation, of course, then you're going to have to step out the box, get more creative, and start thinking about ways you can use whatever skills or hobbies that you have, and also having your eyes open for your neighbors to be able to identify how their needs and their situation might be compatible with your needs and your situation, so that you can work together to create revenue for yourself, and that's more than likely going to come from providing another service or situation for other people that are in need. So you see,